26 and I'm a heart disease survivor.
I'm 24 years old and I've been living with a heart condition for the past 10 years.
I'm 15 years old and I'm a heart disease survivor.
I have a daughter, Giovanna. She was one of twins.
I was born with a genetic heart defect.
It's called a subaortic restriction. That's what it was diagnosed when she was actually 3. We knew there was something that she had a heart murmur when she was born, but it was not diagnosed until it got a little bit worse.
I was 6 years old when I had my first heart surgery.
It's actually a muscle, part of the heart muscle that's gone awry, and it has wound itself around right below the aortic valve. And so it stays the same as the heart gets bigger. And so eventually it restricts the blood flow.
I was around 13 years old when I had the flu for a week. And after I finally decided to get up out of bed, I realized that I was feeling really dizzy and lightheaded and asked my mom for a sip of water. And when I did, I passed out, hit the wall in our kitchen, and she called my dad in a panic and said, "You've got to get home." And he hurried home and we went to his office to do an EKG where they discovered I had 2nd and 3rd degree heart block coming up on the EKG read. And so after that, we went to Children's Hospital where I was put on several different types of medications such as beta blockers. But the doctor ultimately decided that I would need a pacemaker, which was something that my 13-year-old mind really didn't know how to comprehend at the time.
I was 2 weeks away from my 6th birthday, and I was in the backyard with friends jumping on the trampoline, and I guess I got too excited and I went out cold, and my friend had went to go tell my father.
I immediately ran out behind in my neighbor's backyard, and Sabrina was lying on the trampoline, motionless. Checked her pulse. She wasn't breathing, her heart wasn't beating. I began CPR. My wife was on the phone with 911, and I give her CPR for about 8 to 10 minutes. Sabrina was out. She was dead.
I had a heart attack and I was dead for about 10 minutes.
The paramedics showed up and zapped her.
They had to come and shock me, and it did take a few times for me to come back.
She was on life support for 3 days. They didn't know if she would wake up, and if she did, would she be brain dead. We said a lot of prayers, and she woke up 3 days later. Was a little bit out of it for a few days.
I've had 8 surgeries total because of my heart condition. 2 pacemaker surgeries. I've had the initial pacemaker implanted in 2001, and then in December 2009 I had the replacement put in.
I had a defibrillator pacemaker put in, and I was the youngest to ever have it placed in on top of my heart.
Sabrina's heart condition is very uncommon. 95% of the kids her age don't make it when they go into full cardiac arrest.
I've had 3 open heart surgeries.
Oddly enough, she was named after my husband's aunt, Giovanna, who died of the very same heart defect when she was 16 years old.
I had no idea. She'd never had any signs, never had any symptoms or anything at all. She was 5 years old.
We have to watch now for everybody from this generation on that may have the same defect.
It was just a defective gene that didn't develop right. It wasn't genetic.
I take beta blockers, Natadol, 100 milligrams, and it helps my heart rate.
And keep her from doing anything very strenuous, no sports, no jumping on the trampoline anymore.
I was actually getting ready to start for my 8th grade volleyball team when I had the surgery take place. It was in August of 2001. And didn't get to play that beginning of the season, but was able to continue to play after I had the pacemaker put in. And so throughout my whole junior high and high school experience, I played sports on and off, but not without hitting the floor a few times, passing out because of my heart condition.
And the fluid would build up around my heart and I would have chest pains, and then I'd have to go into the hospital and get my fluid drained off my heart. and that led up to my second heart surgery I had when I was 13.
The first surgery, they had taken it out thinking it was a membrane. It was not a membrane, it was this muscle gone awry, and so it grew back. And so during the second surgery, they actually had to do what's called a myomectomy, and it's where they actually take a chunk of the heart muscle so that it won't grow back.
I had an infection on my valve, my second valve that I had put on my second surgery, that led up to me needing my valve replaced again on the third surgery.
There's usually about a 10-year period that you have to go back and get the pacemaker updated. So I'll go in for another pacemaker every 10 years just to make sure that I have my battery fully charged.
About every 5 years, she has to have her defibrillator changed for the battery.
It'll beat out of rhythm. It'll skip a beat or just beat really, really fast, so I can feel it, and I tend to get out of breath.
I was, I think, 19. I got pneumonia, and that led up to my third open heart surgery when I was 20.
She was one of the guinea pigs that are being used, but she has been given valves that were not approved by the FDA yet. She was one of the first 500 people in the United States to be given the type of valve that she was last time around.
Last year, recently, when I moved here, it happened because it was hot outside and I didn't take my medicine, so it did shock me in 2 or 3 times.
This was my second heart valve replacement on my third surgery, and I had a cow valve put in.
It's scary as a parent to go through watching this happen to your child, and hoping that people are still doing that research, that people are still out there searching for the answers to the problems.
I will have to have another surgery in the future, which hopefully with new research they're having now, that I won't have to have an open heart surgery, and they should be able to go through my leg, hopefully.
Every time I passed out in high school, I had to wait 6 months before I could drive again. So that was something growing up that was hard for me, because I felt isolated a lot, because unlike most of my 16, 17-year-old friends, I wasn't always able to just hop in the car and go wherever I wanted and have that freedom.
And I have a twin sister, and so I really noticed a big difference, you know, with my sister having a normal health issues her whole life, and then me beside her moving a lot slower.
The technology just changes so much every time I go in for a surgery. I've had catheter ablation surgeries to correct my atrial tachycardia, the condition that I developed later on in life, which was fast heart rates of over 200 beats a minute. And just to see the technology and how far it's come in just 10 years is one thing that makes me so grateful for American Heart Association and everybody that donates.
The Heart Association is always on the cutting edge doing the research that needs to be done for situations like my daughter, Giovanna, and many others that have things that happen to them that's not their own fault, that's not, they're born with it, and they still need this research to be an ongoing thing. And there's been a number of occasions in Giovanna's lifetime where she was part of the research.
The money that we raise tonight will help people like me that have faced heart conditions live a normal life, and that's one reason why American Heart Association is such a near and dear organization to my life.
I don't want anyone to go through what I've been through, and it's not fun, but I thank God every day for my life, and it's important for me to be involved with the American Heart Association because it means a lot, and I want to help.
Working with the American Heart Association has really increased our awareness in the Chambers family, and our mission is to raise as much money as possible in our new community, and also raise awareness for research and development, and bring a pediatric cardiologist here to the city of Hot Springs.
Would you join me in being a member of the Beating Heart Club tonight?